good. So we're talking about 3 tips to help skyrocket your performance and kind of some of the questions you just hear a lot in general about eating around your workouts and stuff. So 3 tips, they're all pretty basic. I think once you hear them, you're just going to be like, of course, I knew that. But I don't know if you guys know, I'm sure you do. We kind of partnered, or we did partner with Healthy Steps Nutrition. So instead of just doing fitness now, we offer nutrition coaching as well, but it's a very simple habit-based approach to it. So basically we think nutrition shouldn't be complicated and you want to take a holistic approach. So it's not just one piece of it. It's not just nutrition. It's not just exercise, but it's stress, it's sleep, it's your support system. It's all of those things. And it's true. It all matters and nobody's perfect, but you just try to do the best we can. And we'll kind of talk about what we're going to be covering today. So again, I kind of said the 3 tips and then the most frequently asked questions. Big ones are, do you need a 30-minute window to fuel after your workouts? Do you need a protein supplement? And kind of just where do you start too? Those are kind of things we get asked a lot. The first thing is, in order to be consistent and improve your performance, you just have to really show up and be consistent at the gym. Realistically, we're in the gym at Delta, half hour a day. Sometimes we do doubles, but it's also like, you got to think about what you're doing the other 23 hours of the day and how those influence your performance, your recovery, and all of that stuff. So the gym is part of it. And again, showing up, the more you do it, the better you get, the stronger you get, the better you feel. But there's things to do around that to make sure you're getting the most out of it. So we're going to start with tip number 1. And I'm sure this is going to come as no shock to anyone, but it's to prioritize whole foods. So I always like to say, if it's made in a plant, don't buy it. If it comes from a plant, put it on your plate. You just want to find things that are as least processed as possible. So there's so many supplements, pills, and powders out there that claim performance benefits, and it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. We kind of get sucked into that, but you really don't want to forget that the foundation of health and fueling your body really starts with whole foods. So the first core nutrition principle is whole foods, lean proteins, veggies, nuts, seeds, some fruit, little starch, and minimal added sugar. So any kind of sugar you're getting in your diet, you want it to come from fruit, that kind of thing, not added sugar that you might find in packaged foods. So at the end of the day, if you're not prioritizing whole foods and a healthy diet, there's no pill or supplement or like magic powder you can take that's going to skyrocket your performance if you're skipping the first thing. So we're going to just talk about the macronutrients and kind of how they're related to performance. So the whole foods that we're prioritizing. And the first one is, of course, protein. Especially if your goal is to build muscle, this is going to be your most important macronutrient. It plays a vital role in our body's structure and enzymes, and it's also involved with hormone health and immune function. So protein is the building block of muscle. Without adequate protein, it's really impossible to build muscle that you're working so hard for in the gym. So it really means you just kind of want to prioritize your protein and consume it with all of your meals and your snacks. Number 2, there's 3 macronutrients. I don't know if we all know, but I'll kind of list them off. It's protein, carbs, and fat. We already went over protein, but the role of carbs, and that is our body's main source of fuel and our primary source of energy during exercise. So carbs actually prevent the protein from being used as energy, which is important because you need protein for building muscle. So a lot of times with these really low carb diets or keto diets, you're using that protein to fuel your workouts, and that is not good for maintaining and building your muscle mass. You don't want your body using protein to fuel you. You want it to be carbs. Carbs are the biggest umbrella of macronutrients, meaning there's the most foods in there, like fruit, beans, rice, bread, pasta, veggies, starch. It could also go the bad way, like candy, fruit juices, that kind of thing. So again, we're going back to that. You want to prioritize whole foods. Carbs that should be prioritized to improve your performance are high in vitamins and minerals. So basically, again, like anything I said that comes from a plant and that's not in a plant, because, or I should say that is made in a plant, because that's when you have the added sugar and the other stuff. And that actually promotes inflammation in your body, which could affect your performance as well. So when focusing on whole foods, you're thinking about the quality of carbs to promote your recovery and optimal health. And just remember, again, your body is that's the main source of fuel. So we do need those carbs. Last one is going to be our fats. Fat plays a role in our membranes and aids in the absorption of fat soluble vitamins. So A, E, D, and K are all fat soluble vitamins, and it's going to help your body absorb those. It's the most calorically dense macronutrient, so it has 9 calories per gram, meaning a little goes a long way. So you want to focus on healthy fats, nuts, olive oils, that kind of thing. So again, healthy fats that aren't going to have no other added nutrients with them. Fats that are going to be ideal for performance would contain omega-3s, which help fight inflammation and help with recovery. Examples include salmon, mackerel, herring, and if you're plant-based, almonds and walnuts are good sources of that as well. All healthy fats, which is also good for hormone function as well. So that plays a role there. We also just want to make sure, Whole Foods, we're focusing on proper hydration with our workouts, because dehydration can decrease your performance by up to 20%. So you want to go into your workouts properly hydrated, and kind of the benefits of staying hydrated are you maintain plasma volume, it decreases fatigue, it prevents injuries, and depending on like where you're, like say you're doing an outside workout, it can reduce the risk of heat exhaustion or heat stroke. You can be overly hydrated though. At Delta, we do half-hour workouts. So drink a little water before as needed in the workout. If you overdo it on the water, it can actually deplete sodium from your cells. So that's not good either. If you're an endurance athlete, that kind of thing, if you're running a marathon, then you're going to pay attention to it a little bit more. Like I said, we're doing half-hour workouts. Then maybe you want to get into electrolytes, that kind of thing. But for what we're doing, it's really not that necessary to talk about. But again, you do want to be properly hydrated with those 30-minute workouts. I think we're all good about keeping our water bottle with us. That's always a good tip, to get that water in. Some before workout tips. So fueling for your workouts is best done within 3 hours of your workout. Fueling your body before workouts is important to ensure your glycogen, those carb stores, are ready to go for optimal performance. So again, you don't want to be fueling your body with protein. That's for building muscle. So if you're working out first thing in the morning, I know some of us are 5:30 ladies, liquids are digested faster than solid food, so it might be easier for your body to tolerate. So some examples of that might be like a half of a smoothie, a drinkable yogurt, or an applesauce with protein powder. If you can't stomach anything that early, that's okay. You just want to focus on getting some fuel right after your workout. And again, being hydrated. So maybe waking up, having some water before you're hitting your workout. If you're working out in the middle of the day or early morning, you kind of want to consume a balanced meal an hour to 2 hours before. So balanced meal, and we're going to focus on whole foods with protein, carbs, not so much the fat before, because that can slow down your digestion. So if you're working out within an hour of your workout, limit the amount of fat, go for a little bit of healthy, but more protein and carbs with that. After your workout, you want to try to fuel within 30 to 60 minutes. Again, we said because fat slows down digestion, you want to prioritize the protein and the carbs post-workout as well. So it's important to focus on balance, eating enough throughout the day, and getting that post-workout in that 30 to 60 minute window. You're going to be okay. But again, protein and carbs are going to be your best source. You're replenishing your glycogen stores, and you're also giving your muscles that protein. That's what it really needs to to build. So here are a couple examples of before and after workout snacks, and you guys can feel free to screenshot this. So before, maybe like a zero-fat Greek yogurt, fruit, protein, water, applesauce mixed with protein powder. That might be something that can go down if you're doing a really early workout. Rice cake with some sliced turkey, egg whites, veggies, side of fruit, that kind of thing. After, you're getting those protein and those carbs again. Protein powder with coconut water is good. Again, applesauce with protein powder, that kind of thing. If you're staying away from protein powders, just make it a balanced whole foods thing. Any kind of protein and healthy carb will definitely fuel you post workout. And do you have any questions about any of this so far?
No.
All right, we'll just kind of roll along. If you're able to eat a full meal after your workout, you kind of just want to follow the plate method. When you're doing a regular 30-minute Delta class, following the regular plate method, like the anytime meal that you see on the left, is going to be it's going to provide you with all the macronutrients you need and the fuel to recover. If you're doing longer workouts, if your goal is really putting on muscle, then you might want to shift to the one on the right, the post-workout meal, where you're making a little bit less of the plate veggies and adding a little bit more of the starch and the protein. Not a huge tweak, but again, if building muscles your number one priority, that kind of thing, or really if your workouts are longer than 30 minutes, if you're going into extended time, that's kind of where you'd want that post-workout meal to be, as opposed to the one on the left. But again, you're still getting a good balance of the macronutrients. And as long as you're giving your body the fuel it needs, you're going to be good to go. So that was the first tip, prioritizing whole foods. Our number 2 tip is going to be to prioritize rest and recovery. This is a huge one. And I feel like, nobody's going to be perfect all the time, but the recommended amount of sleep for adults is 7 to 8 hours. And if you're even an athlete, you might need additional hours for proper recovery. If you're, really going hard on your body. Again, if the more you train, the more rest you're going to need. Sleep is vital for hormone regulation and building muscle. So it's not like you're working out, you're eating the protein, your muscles building. It's really happening when you're sleeping. So that's why you want to prioritize rest. When we don't sleep enough, hormone regulation is kind of all out of whack, and it inhibits your ability to lose weight, perform, and just build muscle in general. 35% adults report sleeping less than 7 hours per night. And again, it happens. Nobody's ever going to be perfect, but you do want to try to get 7 to 8 hours a night. I always say aim for the 2-2 rule. If you have one bad night of sleep, that's fine, but never try to do 2 nights in a row. Same thing with your diet. If you have one bad day, that's fine. Try not to have 2 in a row. Nobody's ever going to be perfect 100% of the time. Something you can do, a quick activity. Oops, I went backwards. Sorry, ladies. I'm just going to go the right way and catch up to my slide. This thing is very touchy here. All right, bear with me. It keeps going the wrong way. I just have to go slower, I think. All right, we're getting there. Rest and recovery. All right, so an activity to help you fall asleep at night is box breathing. Have you guys ever heard of this before?
No.
All right, so it's a technique that's kind of been shown to calm the central nervous system and kind of allow your mind to get back to sleep. So this is kind of if you're waking up in the middle of the night and your mind starts to wander, because I think that happens to all of us. So you want to breathe in for 4, hold it for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, and hold for 4 seconds. And as you're counting to 4, you're just kind of tracing a box in your mind. And it's supposed to keep your focus on that. But you breathe in for 4, 3, 2, 1, hold it. Just count nice and slow. Out for 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. So again, you're tracing that box, and it's just kind of a good technique to use if you find yourself worked up or stressed. Maybe you need to unwind. But basically, you just want to kind of distract your mind and not let it go crazy. So that's going to lead us right into our 3rd tip, which is stress management and mindset. So your thoughts and your actions really directly validate, they kind of indicate your performance. So it's not surprising that this is our third tip. Whenever you have chronic stress and your body's an alert, you're constantly producing cortisol. And then when you're doing workouts, you're putting more stress in your body too. So that can just kind of throw everything out of whack. And over time, it puts you at risk for certain health problems like high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, depression, anxiety, even skin problems. It can affect our menstrual cycles. So it's really important to find productive ways to manage stress. And I know that's much easier said than done. Yes, working out can help manage your stress, but keeping in mind if everything else is out of whack, that is another stress on your body. And again, you could be producing just a lot of cortisol, which affects your other hormones. Box breathing, going back to that, is something that could help with stress. But another one, there's a really good book I want to recommend. You guys can order it on Amazon. It's called Soundtracks, and it really talks about how to overcome overthinking, because I think a lot of stress is related to that. We just tend to overthink things. So again, you just kind of want to find ways to calm. Meditation, journaling, that kind of thing. All of those things can help with stress relief, having a support system, have someone you can talk to. But this is just a really good book that is highly recommended. You don't want to always be overthinking things. You kind of just want to simplify it. And the basis of the book is like how you just have that constant soundtrack in your mind of overthinking, but definitely one to check out on Amazon. So going over the HSN principles, our healthy step nutrition principles, we're just kind of recap. In order to skyrocket your performance, you need to start with the basics. The first one was the whole foods. Again, whole foods first, your lean veggies or your lean proteins, your veggies, your healthy fats, your nuts and seeds, some fruits, little starch, no added sugar. So whenever you say no sugar, it's always added. Fruit's okay. Balance of the macronutrients, protein, carbs, low glycemic carbs are going to be your less starchy carbs, and then your healthy sources of fats. And then you just want to limit the amount of processed carbs and sugar. Again, sugar is really just not good for you, that added sugar. You're not supposed to have more than 6 teaspoons a day for women. The average person usually has 46 added teaspoons per day. So you can just kind of see how out of whack that is. And it really adds up to about us consuming about 150 pounds of sugar a year. Not our fault. It's super addictive, and it's in pretty much every packaged food you find. That's why, again, you really just want to focus on those whole foods. So I'm just going to go over a couple frequently asked questions, again, kind of with fueling for your workouts. The first one you get is there really only a 30-minute window after your workout? Within 30 to 60 is generally the best, but it really isn't the only thing that matters. Like if you can't get it in that, if it's 2 hours one day, it's not going to make or break your performance. You do want to try to be consistent with it, but it's not going to, again, make or break it if, you miss it a few days. What matters is really what you're eating throughout the day and prioritizing that rest and recovery. So you do want to try to get it in, but at the end of the day, it happens to me a lot just because of my schedule at work. I do my workout early. Sometimes I don't eat, a full meal, but you just want to be as consistent as you can. Again, it's the overall that is going to make the difference. The next one I hear a lot is, do you need a protein supplement or like a pre-workout? If you're consuming protein at all your meals, you're probably getting enough. If your goal is to really put on some serious muscle, you might want to add a protein shake after. It really depends. This could be a good way, like if you can't get like your 30 to 60-minute window after your workout, then maybe have a protein shake with you to get it in. But Again, most of the time, if we're prioritizing protein with our meals, you're going to be getting enough throughout the day and in your snacks too. Whey protein is the gold standard. If you're vegan, if you have an allergy to milk, pea protein is also great. That's what I use. So those are two good options. Pre-workout's another one that really isn't necessary. A lot of times those contain a lot of caffeine, and it can just have you feeling jittery. So again, always focus on the whole food first. Not to say you can't have coffee or tea. I'm talking about those like protein pre-workout, or not protein, excuse me, those pre-workout like fuel packs or whatever. Those can have like a lot of just added stuff in there. And again, you just really want to focus on the whole foods first. That's kind of the whole point, you know, where you really want to be in general. Kind of where do you start? You just want to focus on one thing at a time. If you're trying to implement all these things at once, you're going to have a 5% chance of succeeding with them. So maybe you think of a one thing we talked about, you're going to like maybe focus on the whole foods first after your meals. Maybe you're going to make sure you get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Maybe you're going to do a stress management technique. But the first thing is we just want to pick one thing to start with, because if you focus on one thing, you're 80% more likely to maintain it. So if you just keep throwing a bunch of things on, again, we kind of just we tend to fall off, because a lot of us take that all or nothing approach. So what's kind of standing out to you the most with the 3 things we went over? Prioritizing whole foods, prioritizing your sleep and recovery, or the stress management and mindset. If you're really thinking you need support and accountability, remember we do offer the nutrition coaching now, and that's something where I would be working with you one-on-one. We would create a plan for you where you would focus on one thing at a time, and I would be there to help you stay accountable and reach your goals. So personalized accountability is a really good thing to help with that too, if it just feels overwhelming starting on your own. If you're interested in that, you can definitely set up a goal setting session with me. We'll get that all taken care of. These are some of the Delta Life results from just different gyms. I don't know if you guys know, we have quite a few around the country. I think we're up to like 16 or 17. But when you have everything nailed down, it really does, you do see results. Again, it's not a quick fix. It's not a quick thing. But at the end of the day, when you do it the right way and you have that support, you're going to definitely get to where you want to be. So like I said, you could definitely book a goal setting session with me. It's totally free. We would just kind of go over some of your goals, what you're thinking, and get you started. Our ongoing coaching includes the nutrition education. It's customized for your individual needs and goals, individualized habits. You'd have monthly meetings with me, weekly check-ins, in-body scans, that kind of thing. So everything is personalized for you. So that's pretty much everything. I'm going to kind of open it up to just any questions you have about anything that I talked about. And then I will let the rest of you enjoy your evening. So does anybody have any questions about anything that I went over about skyrocketing your performance? Everyone's so quiet. Any questions?
I don't have any.
No, you're good. I see Jordan, I see Brianna, you guys are on. I still don't know who Samsung is, but hi. Did you ladies have any questions about anything? Okay, well, I will kind of leave it there then. Again, this is recorded. Courtney will edit this and post it. So if you want to rewatch it and write down anything or anything you missed, you can always ask me too. And like I said, if you are interested in the ongoing nutrition coaching, definitely just set up a goal setting session with me, and we will get everything set up for you. So you ladies have a good night. Thank you so much for coming on with me. I know, again, like it's spring break and we're all, well, most of us are here, but that's okay, right? All right, you guys have a good evening and I will talk to you ladies soon. Bye, Cassidy. Bye, Brianna. Bye, Samsung.
Bye.
Bye, guys.